Hey, Gary.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. What I'd like to do is give an opportunity for everybody to introduce themselves as we go around. I will call your name and you can introduce yourself. And once we have done that, I'm going to very quickly turn things over to Jim because he needs to leave early today, and then we'll get into the meat of our meeting. So first of all, welcome to everybody. And Mark Zastro, I want to let everybody know because they did get the email, but I will officially say welcome. Mark has consented to be a liaison member for us, and I will talk a little bit more about how he's going to be helping us out. So welcome, Mark. Very glad you're here. And I'll give you a chance right now to say hey and anything else you'd like very quickly.
Oh yeah, just really quickly. I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I'm glad to be on the call, and thank you for allowing me to join your group. I'm really looking forward to doing everything that I can to assist and give back. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Okay, Mike, go ahead and let us know where you're from.
Okay, Michael Chafin. I'm on the board of directors of the Overland Park Historical Society. I got connected with this organization through the efforts of Brad Moore, our president. He and I are both architects, and we had cubicles side by side, and one day I overheard him talking about the Historical Society, and that's where my whole journey began. Eventually became part of the board. Sandy, do you want us to talk about what our organization is currently doing?
Not right now. Not right now. If we have time at the end, we'll do that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I'm a retired architect. My big claim to, I got two claims of fame. One is my family is related to the Hatfields. The Hatfields and McCoys. And this is honest to God truth. I'm not pulling your leg. Devil Anse Hatfield's wife's maiden name was Chafin. So that's how I'm related. My other claim to fame is I was project manager on the Kansas City Star printing facility, the one downtown that has all the glass where you can see inside, see the press. Wow. That was a 3.5 year, 100 million. But anyway, that's pretty well sums up my claims.
You got paid for it.
I'm not paying for it.
No, I mean, I hope Kansas City Star paid you guys.
Well, Terry, that's
well, they're hurting for money, you know.
That's an interesting subject, but I don't want to discuss it here.
Exactly right.
We'll move right along. Bob Courtney.
Bob Courtney with the Olathe Historical Society, the Mahaffey Foundation Board of Trustees, the Olathe Historic Preservation Board, and that's about it for now.
Okay. Ken.
Hi, this is Ken Klingensmith. I'm with Aubrey Township and the Stillwell Community Organization. I serve as the treasurer for Aubrey Township, which is an elected position, and then I also serve as the president of the Stillwell Community Organization, which represents Southeast Johnson County and the unincorporated area of the county.
Okay. Lila.
Hi, I represent the Trailshead chapter of the Oregon California Trails Association, and I am its president, and this is our new logo.
Oh,
yay!
Oh, look, oxen, very good.
Cool. Thank you, Lila. Suze.
The cat.
Afternoon, nice to meet you all. I am Suzanne Dennis, and you can call me Suze. I am Vice President at Museum of the Deaf, History, Art, and Culture. And so I hope to be joining in forthcoming meetings, and I'm excited to do so.
Okay,
So, yeah.
thank you. Charles?
Yes, I'm treasurer of the Shawnee Mission Indian Historical Society. That organization will be celebrating their 90th birthday come October.
Okay. Gary?
Gary Hicks. I'm president of the Kansas City Area Historic Trails Association, past president of the Native Sons and Daughters Greater Kansas City, and currently serve as treasurer of this foundation and was founding president of Johnson County, Kansas Heritage Foundation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Terry?
Terry Love, I'm president of the Monticello Community Historical Society, which is basically northwest Johnson County, except for the wonderful people over in DeSoto. And we have been there about 6 years now as president.
Okay. And Ross, you're on mute. So if you can get off mute, you can tell us about yourself.
Jim may need to get him off mute.
Yep.
Well, pretty good.
There we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay, we just hadn't tapped the right button here. This is the first time that we have been on, and I'm on my wife Shirley's iPad. She's hitting all the buttons, so it's not me doing the work here.
It works.
I'm pleased to be on. Always been on with Gary before. Went over to his house, but don't have to do that now. Anyway, I represent the Santa Fe Trail Association's Missouri River Outfitters chapter on the foundation, and I'm a member of all the historic trails groups in town and all across the nation, for that matter. So that's who I am.
Okay, great. Bruce? Oh, Bruce, you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway, yeah. Bruce Daniel, president of the Lenexa Historical Society. We had a great board meeting last night, and we're going to be working, I guess, a little bit with the Shawnee tribe. That's a new thing for us. But anyway, that's it.
Okay, great. Jay?
Good afternoon, everybody. Jay Henricks. I work with the Park and Recreation District of Johnson County and also serve as executive director of the Parks and Recreation Foundation of Johnson County. And Mark, let me give you a little advice about being an affiliate member. They're going to want your office space.
Yep.
I was nearby.
The cat's out of the bag.
Tell us what dates are available, Mark.
Okay, Cappy, you can tell us where you're on mute. You'll need to unmute. Okay, Jim, can you unmute her?
I'm there.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I was gonna. Hi, guys. Hi, Chuck. I'm late. I was asleep. My husband just came in he said, you gonna go to your Zoom meeting or no? I was asleep on the divan, sorry. What are we doing? Introducing ourselves, Sandy?
Yes, that's okay. We're just introducing ourselves.
No, Kathy Ross with the DeSoto Historical Society. So.
Glad you're here. Okay, and Jim, I will let you tell about you and kind of catch us up before you have to leave.
All right, Jim Ogle. I'm the executive director for Freedom's Frontier National Heritage Area. We cover not only your home county, but an additional 40 counties throughout Kansas and Missouri. And the reason I am bugging out and leaving Sandy to her own devices here in just a moment is that this coming month, September of 2020, is International Underground Railroad Network to Freedom Month. And we have 21 sites in Kansas and one in Missouri that are inside Freedom's Frontier that are on the Underground Railroad Network to Freedom that the National Park Service runs. These are local sites that have strong historical documentation of the role they played along the way. Now, in the past, Kansas and Missouri have never been involved in this process. And Governor Kelly's office and the State Department of Tourism was so excited about this that I'll be leaving early because Governor Kelly is cutting a video for us at the Ritchie House in support of this, and her issuing a proclamation for the state for the month ahead. So I shared with you in our last meeting that very brief display about the Freedoms Frontier app, and one of the things we'll have in the Freedom Frontier app very shortly in time for September is all the sites you can visit that are on the Network to Freedom are set up as a separate tour, and you can take them in and have the driving directions to get to any one of them.
Very cool.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Jim, and stay as long as you can, but I understand if you have to leave.
Yes,
Okay.
I will, because we're not completely convinced that since I've handed this over to Sandy as co-host, that this won't crash if I log off. I'm leaving it logged on even after I've left to make sure that you all stay connected along the way. I don't always believe the technology that they promise us, so.
Smart. Okay, well, I am going to bring the agenda up now, and hopefully you can all see this.
Yep, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
Hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is the way it's supposed to work. We'll see. Okay, okay, it's gonna make me do it like this. All right. Okay, we've had our introductions, and for those of you who weren't here at the very beginning, a special welcome to Mark Zastro, who has accepted becoming a liaison member and consultant for our group. And I will fill you in, or I'll let him fill you in just a little bit. We'll get to that part of the agenda to explain how he is going to be able to help us. But first we'll start with officer reports. Whoops, if I would stop playing with my mouse. And probably as far as my report, the biggest challenge has been Zoom meetings. And thank you all for your willingness to participate this way. I'm thrilled because I think we're seeing members that typically have not been able to come. So I'm very happy about that. I'll keep you posted if and when we have a chance to actually meet in person, and hopefully that will be happening, maybe not all the time. I like that there are people that can take time out of their day, those that are working, and are able to join with us. These last few months, what we've, in the planning meetings, we've focused a lot on the website. Thank you to those who have recently sent photos. I think we had 2 sets of photos that came in today, and Mark has not had an opportunity. This is Mark Olson, our webmaster, has not had an opportunity yet to get those posted, but he will. I encourage all of you to take a close look at the website and let Mark and or myself know of anything that is missing or is incorrect. I think you'll be happy to see we were able to get a little bit of carousel going on some of the pages. So I'm very excited about that. And that did not cost us anything. Now, the main banner head, which some people have said, wouldn't it be nice if that was on carousel? I'll talk with Mark about the possibility of having that happen. As of yet, it hasn't. But I am very pleased with how this is shaping up, and I hope you are too. The other thing, big item that we've talked about are the grants, the possibility of a significant money coming in, and we need your grants. I have received grants from, I believe, 3 organizations. Hopefully we will have more, 3 or 4 organizations. I know there are a few more in process. Those need to be submitted by August 31st, and we will be talking more about the grants here in just a little bit. And I have suggested either electronic or postal, perhaps both. But again, we'll take a look at that.
Sandy, I might, this is Gary, I might interject that we've not received grants, it's grant applications. And I think that's
right. Grant
that's
applications.
the time to clarify.
Right. Thank you. Yes, grant application.
Sure.
And I believe everybody has received the application form, and it is fashioned after the Heritage Trust Foundation application form that many of us were used to using years ago. And that's all that I have. Okay, Bob, Courtney, would you like to say anything?
The Olathe Historical Society has applied for one of those grants to go along with our film series that we have done starting in 2010. The proposal that we initially started with a 20 film series on the people, places, and events that shaped Olathe and Johnson County's history. The grant application that we turned into the foundation represents the last film of that series. And so we're excited to see how far that goes through the whole process.
Right. Okay, Kathy, do you have a secretary report?
You submitted it. Luckily, you sent it out to everybody. I didn't receive any complaints or additions, so.
Well, and I do know that things have been crazy these past few months, and I neglected to think about this. Our last general meeting, those minutes are the ones that we probably need to review, but I think we need to resend that to folks so we have an opportunity to vote on the minutes and get approval of the minutes from the general meeting. As you all know, we have these planning meetings in between, and those are basically notes, but it's the general meetings that are the official minutes that need to be voted on. And I apologize, I completely forgot about that. So Kathy, what we may do is look at the minutes from our last general meeting as well as this general meeting, and maybe send that out electronically and get approval or disapproval or corrections, additions from the affiliates. What do you think?
Okay, we get those together, and then you're going to want to vote on them, right?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, we can plan on doing that at the next one, I guess.
Okay. Well, we can send it out electronically to make sure that everybody has a chance. So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else you would like to say?
Me? No.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Gary, treasurer's report.
Oh, very good. I think I reported that at the end of our July 21st meeting, we had $4,813.52 in our account. We've had no deposits from July 21st through July 20th, and actually we've had no deposits since the last meeting. We did have a stoppage contribution. Joe Stoppage, he's now past president of Johnson County Community College, and there was a deposit made on July 21st, which into our account, and then there was also and that would, excuse me, as a disbursement, we had $100 check written from our account with the, from our account at First National Bank, but it had not yet been cashed by Freedom's Frontier, where I sent this check to. We also had a $35 outstanding check with the state of Kansas filing Form SC. That check now has been cashed by the state of Kansas. So as far as our account balance ending in July, that was $4,600 and 4678.52. Again, we've had no deposits nor any withdrawals in August, leaving a balance of $4678.52. The $100 contribution by Dr. Sapich into our grants program has now been deposited, with a balance there of $1,200 in our grants account being administered by Freedom's Frontier for a total of $1,200. And that leaves a combined balance of $5,878.52 between our administrative account and our grants fund account.
Okay, I am looking for a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
So Mike made the motion, Terry seconded it. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hands. I can see your hands. Okay, those opposed? Okay, passed. All
Kathy,
right.
excuse me, Madam President, I might suggest that could you reduce the your slide?
Okay, I didn't know if you could see that or not.
No, it's still fully up there, and I couldn't see any of the
I'm
hands.
sorry. Okay,
So
there we
maybe
go.
take it down, put it up, take it down, put it up, something like that.
Okay, whoops.
Okay, my phone rang, Sandy. Who made the motion and who seconded?
Mike Chapin made the motion and Terry Love seconded.
Thank you.
Okay. This is the meat of what I wanted to focus on this particular meeting is our standing committees. And what I am suggesting is that each affiliate member will select a committee to work on. And this does not necessarily include officers. However, in talking with a lot of the folks who are officers, they are willing to serve on a standing committee also. Each of these committees will have a minimum of 3 members. And we're going to talk about all of these and what their duties are going to be. And if there is anything missing that you feel needs to be there, please let me know. I tried to be as broad and generic as I possibly could be, hoping that we could fit everything into a small number of standing committees. Any questions yet?
Yeah, Sandy?
Yes.
This is Gary. As we get down to it, I might make a recommendation to have social media, website, and speakers bureau as one, include speakers bureau in social media and website because it is a community outreach, and then leave ambassador and endowment program as a separate entity because of the magnitude of that committee and the individuals that will be working directly with, such as Mark and Brad Bergman. So
Okay, there is a reason why I have those separated out, and I think once we get into it, you'll understand why they are 2 separate committees.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's start bylaws and nomination.
I do
And
have a question. Could you send me a
yes,
copy of the bylaws?
yes. Who's speaking? Oh,
Lila.
Lila. Yes, I will do that.
And Sandy, it's Mark Zastro. If I could get one too, please.
Absolutely. I'm sorry that I overlooked not sending that to you. I'll send this out to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, just made a note of that. Okay, this committee will review our bylaws on an annual basis and will also be responsible for selecting the slate of officers. Typically, we change officers every 2 years. However, that is not a hard and fast rule. We do have some individuals who are looking to no longer be officers this next coming year. And so we will be looking for new officers. Any questions regarding this particular standing committee? It's pretty cut and dried.
This is Mike. Is
Yes.
this committee already been assigned to someone?
No, it has not. The only person that I have is that Gary Hicks has consented to chair this particular committee.
Okay, so are we supposed to volunteer for these committees?
You will have an opportunity to do that, but I want to be sure that you have a chance to hear all of it before you make a decision, and you don't have to make a decision today.
Okay.
But I do want decisions made before the next meeting in September.
Okay.
And if need be, I will contact people if they have not indicated what they're interested in. I'll be talking with everybody.
Okay, and each of these committees is supposed to have 3 people?
At least 3.
At
A
least 3.
minimum of 3.
But each affiliate organization decides who those 3 or more people?
No. The affiliate members can pick which committee they want to work on.
Oh.
So you have a chance. You have a choice.
Okay, so in other words, all of the members from the Overland Park Historical Society can be on various committees.
No, just our affiliates, the ones that are at this meeting. The affiliate representatives, maybe it would be easier to say that. The affiliate representatives.
Okay, so these committees are made up of affiliate representatives only.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Now, if there's somebody that is part of your organization that wants to get involved, of course they can do that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Then Sandy, this is Gary.
Yes.
A couple things regarding just the basics on this committee. I think rather than selecting a slate of officers, that it should be, we would coordinate a presentation of officer candidates, that we would not select the officers.
Okay.
Because that'll be voted on by the board. And then rather than strictly stating that we'll be reviewing the bylaws on an annual basis, and that would be at a minimum, or we'll be reviewing as needed, because there will always be situations come up, either additions or deletions from the bylaws. Based on our operations.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions regarding this particular standing committee?
Okay, I want to make sure I understand.
Okay.
If I want to volunteer for one of these committees, I need to do that before the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Just let me know.
All right. And if I have someone else within my organization that also wants to volunteer, then I need to get that name and get that to you?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I will see if there is anybody.
Okay.
I'll see if I can break anybody's arm.
Okay, that sounds good.
And Sandy, this is Gary. I thought that the intent here was to engage each of our affiliate member representatives in the process, and not bring someone from within the other organizations themselves, because of their we have representatives. Like I'm KCHTA, and I've been the representative here to our foundation, and I think I'm familiar with what's going on. To draft somebody else from within our organization, or my organization, into this process may not serve us well. So I think we should stay with our affiliate member board representatives.
Okay, I disagree with that only because there are some people who are on this committee that do not have the time to put into it. And I'm thinking in particular of like Tim Talbot. Tim is not able to come to these meetings, but there may be somebody at Mahaffey that could be a representative, and engaging additional people will help to keep the board fresh.
Bob Courtney is on the foundation with.
I know he represents a lot of different.
He represents, the Overland or Lathe
Yeah, he represents too many people. And I don't expect him to serve on 3 different committees because of that. So I think we can be flexible on this, and I think getting new blood involved with us can only be a good idea. If somebody should move or something happen that they aren't able to be here, then we have somebody else within that affiliate that would have a familiarity with what's going on. So I think we don't need to have it hard and fast. And it may be that there's nobody interested, but I think we should not shut the door on the possibility of other people being involved.
I agree with you, Sandy.
Okay. And we can talk about that, but I just think if we can be as not only transparent, but as welcoming to others as possible, it would be a good plan.
And they would be potential future board
representatives, of course.
But one representative per organization.
Well, actually, we have several representatives per organization, but only one shows up usually. So I don't think that that's going to make a difference in how our board operates.
Well, we have one board member defined as the voting member of our foundation.
Right,
so,
there's 1 vote per affiliate organization. You are correct about that. There could be several people. You could have 3 or 4 people, but only 1 vote for each affiliate organization.
I'm a member of the trails organizations that are represented here, but I represent KCHTA as my affiliate member organization, and so when I vote, it is on behalf of KCHTA.
Right, right. Okay, we're going to move on.
This might be this issue might be something we would want to look at and make sure our bylaws today cover that issue fairly clearly, because I think we're diverting a bit from our bylaws.
Okay, looks like you already have a task at hand.
Oh, I don't think so. No, it's a we thing. Oh my. Okay. But we'll look at them.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah,
let's move on. I do want to get through this. Okay, the grant administrative review. And what this is, we have talked in our bylaws, it talks about how grant applications come to our organization for review, not for content, but for accuracy of, do they fit, are they worthy of being sent on to the review board? Meaning, do they fit the criteria? Are all the T's crossed and I's dotted? And we need to have a smaller group within our organization that takes the time to review these. And I'm very happy to say that Bob Courtney has agreed to chair this committee. And so what this means is the grants that I have received, I will be getting back to Bob. And Bob, you can decide if you want them only hard copy or if you want them electronic, how it's going to be the easiest way for your committee to review this.
Probably hard copy.
Okay, okay. And the ones that I have, I will stick in the mail and get them back to you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding this standing committee?
Yes, Andy, I'd like to, this is Gary.
Yes.
We have the word in that second sentence, this committee will also work with the GRB. I think as we establish these guidelines that the committee will not only work with the GRB or partner or team with them, but this committee will oversee the efforts of the GRB. The GRB is a outside volunteer group of, I think, 3 people, maybe up to 5, but I think we're looking at 3 people right now. It'll be a teaming thing, a partnering thing, but they will be reporting directly to this committee, and they're not working independently, and I think that just needs to be clarified.
Okay.
Okay, who are these 3 people that are being looked at?
Bob Courtney's group are going to come up with them. We do not have anybody yet.
Okay. That's not what I heard Gary say.
I heard 3.
Uh,
I
3,
did not give any names. I did not give any names. What I was trying to clarify is that this committee right here, the Grant Administrative Review Committee, Bob's committee, will oversee the work of the Grant Review Board, and they will administer the efforts of the Grant Review Board. Although they will work independently to review the grant applications that come in, it still has to be under the auspices of our grant review committee or administrative committee.
Yes, yeah, Gary, I understand that.
Yes.
But I thought I heard you say that there was 3 people being looked at for the GRB.
If
There was
I
3 grant proposals.
there may be proposals, but I'm not aware of how many proposals have come in, and I'm certainly not on that committee. But in the past, we have talked about a minimum of 3 people and probably a maximum of 5 people that would serve on the Grant Review Board. And to my knowledge right now, we don't have anyone to serve on that committee. We may, but I'm not aware of it.
Bob, would you like to comment?
One person I have contacted was on the Johnson County Heritage Trust Fund Review Board. And we're working through if he's going to be agreeable to also be on our grant review board as one person.
And he may know of some other folks that were on it. And so we may be able to get a grant review board put together fairly quickly.
Okay, so there's only one person that's been discussed, this has been discussed with. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification.
So one other point of clarification, Cindy, Mark Sastro here, is the grant review board for money coming into the foundation, our foundation, or is it for money to go back out?
It's for money to go back out.
I see.
Bob, why don't you go ahead and talk about how this works?
Grant proposals come into the foundation. The Grant Administrative Review Board will look through them to see if they meet all the criteria that's in the bylaws at this time. Depending on money's availability as to how many grants that could be authorized, but they will go before a grant review board of 3 to 5 members, and they will do the assessment as to eligibility, and then the grants would be awarded to those applications that have been sent in. And there is criteria as to how long it takes to do the project, reports about halfway through and at the completion of the project. And there are several pieces of criteria that will go into that whole process.
Okay, thank you very much.
You might clarify for Mark, Bob, that the Grant Review Board members will be outside of our membership of affiliate members.
The Grant Review Board will be made up of 3 to 5 individuals that are independent of this foundation.
Perfect.
And the other point that we might throw out there is, should we have a grant proposal that comes in that is of a technical issue that may be out of the purview of the Grant Review Board, they can call in a specialist kind of thing to come in and answer any technical questions. And I didn't say that very clearly, I know.
You know, somebody that has expertise in the area that addresses the grant application that the Grant Review Board may not have expertise in.
Right. Any further questions regarding this standing committee? Okay, we'll move along. The social media website, and this committee is responsible for maintaining website updates and coordinating other social media outlets, such as the digital game app that we've been talking about. But in regards to website, and this is why I see this as a very busy committee, if we look at our heritage projects that we have a lot of gaps that need to be filled in. So this committee would be responsible for gathering information, possibly going out and taking photos and filling in the gaps, as well as keeping things up to date. Like we do have on the website a place for did you know kind of thing. That is going to have to change on a regular basis. So there's a lot of things that will be going on. We still need to have the historic maps. I don't have anything on that. The historic schools, I think we have listed. We have, there's a whole listing from the Johnson County project that is just a list of names of places, and it needs more information. So there's a lot of work that needs to happen with this particular committee. So that's part of the reason why I didn't want to add anything more to it. Any questions regarding this particular standing committee?
Sandy, Mark again, is there a speakers bureau that's part of the social media, I guess, outreach? Did I hear you guys mention that or no?
That's in the next one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to this. I'm looking at Speakers Bureau / Ambassador / Endowment Program. And this seems like it has a lot of moving parts, but it all fits together. We've had a few people that have had the opportunity to get out and speak with groups before the pandemic hit. And I know there are places out there that would love to have us come and talk. In talking with Mark Zastro, we were talking about an endowment program, and this seemed to fit in well with the Speakers Bureau. And Mark, if I could prevail upon you to explain kind of what your viewpoint of this was, because you explained it so very well.
Okay, yep, sure. So, I mean, it's just really more about getting the word out and creating an educational environment, because I think there's probably a lot of people that would be willing to help if they knew maybe how to help. So these are just a couple of ideas that I've had, and it's certainly up to the group to vote on. But one thing that just popped into my mind is, as I've worked with investors here at Edward Jones for the past 26 years, I've noticed that IRA distributions are something that every time you get to the end of the year, you're required by the government to take out from your IRA a mandatory distribution, and it has to occur every year. So sometimes that's income for an individual, but then at other times they may not need all of the distribution for their income, and there's surplus funds that are left over. And now we're seeing a lot of qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs, that go directly from the IRA to a charitable organization. And the benefits of that are there's no taxation to the individual or to the charity. The only one that loses in that is the IRS, because they don't get to tax the distribution. And it's a way to get money into the hands of a charity. So I thought about the foundation because that would be a way to just educate just the general public about the fact that this is an opportunity that they can take advantage of if they want to. And another thing that's going on is, at the end of last year, the Secure Act was put into place very near the end of 2019, in between Christmas and New Year's. And what happened with the Secure Act is it said, well, if you were taking a distribution from your IRA because you were over 70 and a half, we're now going to allow you to wait until 72 if you haven't taken a distribution from your IRA yet. So it sort of kicked the can down the road another 2 years, but people still may be interested in making gifts out of their IRAs. So that's just another point of clarification to just educate the general public about what's going on, because sometimes these things get passed really quickly near the end of the year, and there's not a lot of publicity behind them, and they may not just absolutely fall in the right hands of everybody that needs to hear about it. So I think there's opportunities to talk about that, and then COVID-19 this year. Just another quick point is, distributions from IRAs that had been mandatory. Well, now that the government has said, as of COVID-19, we're going to just forget all about that this year for 2020. So again, if an individual doesn't have to take the money out of their IRA and they don't have to pay tax on it, there may be additional funds that they are looking to earmark to go to foundations or charities. And it's just that overall creating an endowment, doing qualified distributions. And this is just one topic. This is just IRAs and the distributions from them and required minimums. So I think there's probably a lot more that we could talk about, but that's just a quick idea that I had. But there's plenty more that we could discuss. Yep. There's charitable giving, donor advised funds, just flat out giving away assets. There's plenty of different topics that we can talk about.
Okay.
So I hope that is what you were looking for.
Yes.
I hope that helps.
Yes. And this all made sense to me. I think this is something that we can get on our website. And I also am going to stick my neck out and say for affiliate members, if you are looking at an endowment program, it may be that there are individuals in your community that have a soft place in their heart for what the work that you do. So this is the kind of information that might be useful for you all as well. And I would not hesitate to say contact Mark directly. But
Yeah.
Mark, I'm going to see about getting some of this information onto our website because I think it's really good. And when I was talking with Mark about this, we realized that when we go out on our speakers bureau, there's an opportunity to take 5 minutes or so and just say, oh, and by the way, if you enjoyed this talk, here's a way you can support the organization. And that's why these two need to be together, because the Speakers Bureau, no matter who goes out, because it's not just the people in the Speakers Bureau that are going to be going out, you're just coordinating hopefully coordinating the opportunity for outreach. And through that outreach is when we can share the endowment idea with folks. Any question on that?
Sandy, no question, just some comments, I guess. I still feel that the Ambassador Endowment Program, it's more about, and yes, we are connecting with the community, and I understand that, but I don't see such an important connection between the two. That I see the Ambassador Endowment Program as being a separate entity. We're working with financial advisors, coordinating with them, and engaging them in our grants program directly as the Speakers Bureau simply is a promotion of contributions to the Ambassador Endowment Program. The Ambassador Endowment Program, that would include, I think, Midwest Trust, of which we also now have a relationship with and a commitment to be a part of our organization. That was not achieved through the Speakers Bureau. I've been a member of several Speakers Bureaus, and it's a matter of promoting the organization and what we do. But I think we have two separate entities here that can serve one another, but I don't think in terms of the mechanics within each of these, either the Speakers Bureau or the Ambassador Endowment Program. Those are two separate functions, I think, within our organization.
Well, I'm very willing to open that up to the group if they want to separate it out to a 5th standing committee.
My opinion would be if you get enough volunteers for this committee, then you might then consider splitting it up But my guess is you're going to be having a hard time finding people to fill all these slots. People don't normally volunteer for stuff.
Oh, that's why I'm giving everybody a phone call.
Yeah.
Could we ask Mark for his position and thought on this now that he is he's been welcomed to our organization? So I'd like to just hear from Mark what his thoughts would be.
And that was Gary, right? Gary?
Yes, Gary over here. Yes. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I guess what Michael was saying, I think, Michael, you were the one that said people generally don't volunteer for this stuff, right?
Well, sometimes, most times, but we may find a different case, different situation here. And if we do find that, then we can split this up.
I wanted to say that I agree with what you're saying. At the moment, if we've got a lot more help and it gets bigger, I would say certainly divided. I agree with Michael, and I think we should just kind of take it a step at a time and see how it goes. At the moment, it looks like I'm the only one that's volunteered so far. So unless that would be a conflict of interest with the folks at Midwest Trust. That's all that I can think of at the moment.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention is that within this Speakers Bureau Ambassador Endowment Program would also be our booths if we go to different festivals and want to set up booths. And so I guess I'm kind of suggesting to Terry Love, since you had said you would take care of booths, that you might want to be on this committee.
I volunteer for that committee.
Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you. I hate to put you on the spot like that.
And Sandy, with your point there, I think by having a Speakers Bureau and a committee that would be in charge of booths and community outreach like that, then that almost to me segregates the Ambassador Endowment Committee from the efforts of the Speakers Bureau and the other Speakers Bureau and getting out to the community with booths and those activities. That's a totally separate. To me, a totally separate committee. I just see it like that. You're working with either investment firms or those who have QEDs through their IRAs. I know Louise and I do. Boy, I was certainly pleased to learn about not having to pay taxes on direct contributions from our IRA to whatever nonprofit that we're giving to. But I see it clearly as two separate committees. I really do.
Okay, and I'm beginning to see where you're coming from. We'll see what we can do as far as getting people onto this committee, and we'll separate it and have 5 standing committees in that way.
And if we can be on more than one committee, I would be happy to serve. I'd be happy to serve on that committee because I see the relationship with Brad Bergman. This would provide structure for that relationship with Midwest Trust and and Charles. I think Charles is responsible for Mark's interest in our organization. So compliments to Charles as well as for Mark and his expressed interest.
Okay.
In the investment community.
Any other comments regarding any of the standing committees?
Sandy, I was just going to say, I can see what Gary's getting at, and yeah, I'd be happy to work with Terry on the Speakers Bureau. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Absolutely fine. Yep.
Okay, and we may have you on both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds great. I am going to stop sharing now so I can see people's faces. There you are. Okay. What again, I want to be sure I take time to get any feedback from anybody regarding any of this information on the standing committees. Any other comments?
I'll begin, Sandy, that I'm really pleased that at this juncture of our development evolution of our foundation, that we are now moving forward to having internal committees, enhancing our structure as an organization to further develop our capabilities and our interest in community outreach. It's one thing to go to investment firms such as Midwest Trust and so forth, but we need to have a plan forward and how we reach out to the community, and I think your committees will allow us to do that effectively.
Okay, thank you.
Sandy, I have a question.
Yes.
Person volunteers for one of these committees. What's the duration of their involvement?
We haven't gotten that far. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess if they decide they are tired of a committee and want to go to something else, they could do that.
Okay, so we don't have a set duration.
No. All I am suggesting is that affiliates need to have a representative on one of these standing committees.
At least one.
At least one. And you can be on more than one. If you find that you have more time on your hands than you ever thought possible, you're more than welcome to be on as many committees as you would like to be on.
Well, I don't have that problem.
Okay, I didn't think most of us do.
And Sandy, if I may, these committees, if we're going to adopt these committees today, and I think I'd recommend that we do adopt the basic premises of these 5 committees and get those incorporated into the bylaws as standing committees and not ad hoc committees. But these would be standing committees that would pretty well represent our mission.
Okay. I am not looking for a commitment for anybody to say they want to be on a committee, yes or no, unless you feel strongly. But I agree with Gary that we need to take a vote on whether or not we are going to have these 5 standing committees. And just to review, they are the Bylaws and Nomination Committee, the Grant Review Committee, Speakers Bureau / booths, and we may change that. The concept is what I'm looking for here, not the exact wording. Social media / website, and the endowment program, ambassadorship and endowment program. Those are the 5 standing committees that I would like to suggest. And if anyone would like to make a motion on that.
I'll make the motion. We accept those.
I'll second it.
Okay, I think Suzanne, I missed what you said.
Okay, there's the interpreter. So just talking about the Speakers Bureau, how that would include, booths. Would the appropriate category for that be like promotions and marketing, you think? Or would that go with Speakers Bureau?
Our booths are more informational.
Promotions is good. I like promotions.
Okay, yeah, just something to think about.
Yes.
Publicity?
Yeah, publicity, outreach. And I think what I would like to suggest is the people that end up on these committees need to come up with a more proper formal name and more formal definition of what they do. I know I tend to think very generally, in generalities. I've got the concept. The fine tuning I may leave to you all.
It's cuckoo.
No comment.
Okay.
So we could develop, we could vote at least today that we would have 5 standing committees with these general themes, and then get those into the bylaws, and then we can move on from there and get the get the committees named officially.
Correct. And I think somebody made a motion and I missed who made the motion.
Mike Chapin
Mike Chapin made the motion and the second.
was
I offered a second, but I don't know if anybody else did it or not.
Mark.
I did too, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so is there any further discussion? Yes,
When the bylaws are updated, could we give a term length for these committees, say 1 year or 2 years? And of course, if people need to drop off or change committees, they could, but it seems that it would create less confusion if we had a consistent length of term for all of the committees.
Okay.
Good suggestion, yeah.
Good point.
Okay. Other discussion? Okay, were you ready for?
I might mention that I can work with you, Sandy, to draft some text to incorporate within the bylaws, and then once we agree on the text, then that can be sent out to the foundation board here for review.
Or possibly if we pass this today, get with your committee and come up with the text. That'd be good.
Well, right now, okay. Well, I think, well.
Let's vote.
Okay, those in favor of the motion on the board indicate by raising your hand. Okay. Those opposed? Okay, it passes.
I voted for. I didn't realize my hand was invisible. I didn't have it the right thing.
Okay, we'll have to take time to find the little hand. There is a hand on your Zoom that you can use, so, but we won't worry about that right now.
Is this being recorded?
Yep.
I think so. And
everything you said, Mark.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, and someone had put something in the chat, and April, I think I missed you as I was going around having people tell about I missed you, and I do apologize for that. Why don't you let people know who you represent?
Okay, I'm with the Leawood Historic Commission, and I will serve on the Speakers Bureau Committee.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Okay, and April, while I have you, I'm going to let you go ahead and kind of, we'll start with take about no more than 5 minutes, preferably 2 or 3 minutes, and just let us know what's happening in your world with the Leawood Historic Commission.
Well, not a lot is happening with the pandemic. The Historic Commission has a few small projects that they'd like to work on, but right now our members aren't comfortable with going out and doing interviews or, really doing a lot of face-to-face contact. The historic Oxford Schoolhouse is open, although currently they're down simply because the front porch was in drastic need of repair, and so it is currently not open, but it will open up again as soon as the porch is finished. And it's taking longer than they thought. So hopefully within this month, we'll be up and running again.
Okay. Thank you, April.
That's everything.
Okay. Lila.
What we're doing during the pandemic, we're very busy working on the Trailshead website. So writing, Ross is doing a lot of writing, and I'm helping with some proofreading.
I do the writing and she does the corrections.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Lila. Bruce.
And Lenexa, we're putting out, we've formatted and we're going to be putting out a new electronic newsletter. It's hard to stay in front of people if you don't have events, that sort of thing. So we'll be starting to send that out on a quarterly basis. The first one will go out the end of this month. our museum is back open. We're working with the Shawnee tribe to try to get more of the local Shawnee Indian history disseminated around this area. Our city is named for a Shawnee Indian woman. And then we've also got some opportunities with the Daughters of the American Revolution. We put up a new display with them within our barn, and we're working on some other projects as far as trail work and markers. And then we're also doing signage for our historical complex, the caboose, the depot, the barn, the weight station. And we're also working on a grant to improve the caboose, which needs some work. We want to be able to get it safe, and if kids want to run in and out of the caboose. There are just a lot of things that we're working on right now, and all of it has a lot of very positive momentum, so I feel good.
Great. Charles.
Yes, the Shawnee Mission Indian Historical Society hasn't been doing a lot because of the pandemic, but we have been having monthly meetings, and we will have one tomorrow with programs. And however, it will be sparsely attended as usual and with social distancing, and we can hope to continue doing that. We had plans to have a celebration for the 90th, commemorating the 90th year of this historical society, probably the oldest in the state. It's been around a long time in continuous operation. At this point, however, it doesn't appear that we're going to be able to have an open house or have face-to-face celebration. So we're not sure how we're going to commemorate this, this landmark. Other than that, John Forbes has been working on a grant application for a ground penetrating radar project to identify additional grave sites in the Shawnee Methodist Cemetery. And I think that's about all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Suzanne.
The Museum of Deaf History, Art, and Culture, we basically have been closed ever since March when the pandemic hit. We do hope to open September. That's kind of what we're looking forward to. We have a goal because that's Deaf Awareness Month, and it would be nice to be able to have that open. But we're also watching the numbers very closely, making sure those COVID numbers are going down. If it does continue to be below the % that we need, we might go ahead and open. But if it goes over like it has been, we definitely have to follow what the CDC recommends. So right now with of course, with the highway sign that we have, a lot of people come to this, from out of state. And so with it being a high risk for us, we have to go through everything like that. We have a lot of, go through everything with our volunteers. We have a lot of older volunteers and everything, and focus on the website and get that updated. And then the internal things and policies and museum store and do the renovations and stuff like that. So still in operation, but it's just not social operation yet. So, but definitely keep a watch out for September. We hope to have an event as well, maybe the last week of September. So we'll just kind of go with that.
Thank you, Suze. Ross.
Well, yeah, people say that, hey, this has just been a sit-down, shut-in period. That is not the case. And Lila mentioned the website we've been working on, which is just, I had no idea I could ever find the time to do 500 pages of research, text, and history, and have it right. And have somebody like her to make it dramatically right. And markers. Right now, Gary and I have been working on 8 wayside exhibits that are being done by the Park Service here in the area, both sides of the state line. And that's become quite a task because they've reorganized, they don't have the internal funding they used to have, and they farmed some stuff out. Anyway, been exciting, hasn't it, Gary?
I don't have enough adjectives to describe it, Ross.
And of course, I chair the Historical Markers Committee for the Native Sons and Daughters Group of Kansas City. And boy, I'll tell you, you want something that just burns your time. Every one of those markers we put up 2 or 3 a year, takes 100, 200 man hours. I don't know. You got to get them paid for. You got to get them designed. You got to get the text right. You got to get them ordered, delivered, put in the ground, dedicated. And one of them will be the Johnson County Heritage Marker, which will be out at the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center. Probably will be dedicated yet this year. It hadn't been delivered yet, but been working with Mary McMurray on that. So those are things that just take an enormous amount of time, but it's fun and it's good. It's rewarding.
Okay, thank you, Ross. Bob.
Well, first, the Olathe Historical Society, part of our ongoing film series. We have 3 films underway right now. One is on urban renewal, in effect in the late 1960s and early 1970s on Olathe. One of our other films is on Buddy Rogers. He starred in the first film that won an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Number 1.
Yes, it's a good film, a silent film. And then the other film that we're looking on right now is Mid-American Nazarene University, the history and the beginning of that. In addition to the film that I talked about previously that we turned in a grant application for. The other from Mahaffey, Stagecoach Stop and Farm, they're part of a Smithsonian exhibit that is just now getting ready to open. The main thrust of it is going to be at Iola, Kansas, but there are 6 satellite sites. One of them is the Mahaffey location. If you want to contact them and find out how they can get involved in that and see the different exhibits that's going on. The Historic Preservation Board in Olathe, we're working with the Planning Department of Olathe. They've identified over 300 buildings in Olathe that were built before 1930. And so we're going through verifying those that are still standing and reaching out to them to see if they want to be placed on a local historic register. That's it.
Okay, Terry.
If everybody's familiar with where Shawnee Mission Parkway is, just west of I-35, you know where the wagon train is coming out of the mountains there?
Yeah.
Just across the street from on Shawnee Mission Parkway, they're going to possibly erect a 8-foot statue of Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh.
And he's going to be kind of on a rearing horse with his hand held up saying, "Follow me," type thing. Well, as you know, Wild Bill Hickok was the constable of Monticello Township, which happens to be presently within the city limits of Shawnee. The Shawnee hierarchy, the political part, are extremely left-handed, shall we say. And they're afraid to make the statue actually of Wild Bill because he was a white man.
Oh.
So what they want to do is change the statue into either a scout or make some sort of a non-generic face on it. Wild Bill Hickok actually lived in Lenexa. He was right, his 160 acres was on the corner of Clare and 83rd Street. And right there now, presently, there is a Wild Bill Hickok Park. It's a little over an acre in size. And since Shawnee mainly, well not mainly, might want to disavow Bill Hickok because he was a white man, I've been in contact with Lenexa Historical Society with Bruce there, the possibility of developing Lenexa into more of a Wild Bill Hickok theme or more information going to him, because he actually did live in Lenexa. Therefore, I've made all of our files and data and information in our research library available to Lenexa if they wanted to start developing it in that area.
Well, keep us posted.
I will do that.
Sounds interesting.
Mr. Bruce too. And thank you, Mr. Bruce Daniels, for all your help on that too.
Yeah, we're considering that, and Terry, I'll get back to you on that as well.
Sure, sure.
Gary.
Very good. Ross stole a little bit of my thunder, but not all of it. Yes, we are busy. We all are. These 8 wayside exhibits that we have anywhere from Independence to Harmon Park over in Prairie Village. A huge project and undertaking, not only locally here with our volunteers, which would include Ross, myself, but also with the National Park Service out of Santa Fe. And with their restructuring over the last year or so, it's created a lot of challenges. I'll leave it like that. And that's a huge project. Another huge project.
And if it was not for Gary, it wouldn't have happened to start with. So good for you.
All right, Gary.
Thank you. Another impressive project that we have underway is the digitization of 254 USGS topographical quadrangle maps published by the USGS, it's a Geological Society. These maps that we're having digitized through the Kansas Historical Society were utilized by our co-founder, Mr. Lee Crow, to map the route of the Santa Fe Trail from central Missouri at Boonville, Franklin area at the Missouri River, all the way to Santa Fe, 800 plus miles. The maps are, can you tell me? They're 22 inches by about 19 inches. They're significant in size. It'll be the largest digitization effort that the Kansas Historical Society has undertaken. And we have, after about 1.5 years of effort, have now prepared ourselves to the point where we can take these quadrangle maps down to the Kansas Historical Society once they kind of re-gear up to do a project like this. But what will happen then once they're digitized, these digital files will go up onto the kansasmemory.org website. So all of us, the historians, educators, researchers, can all have access to these digital files routing not only the Santa Fe Trail, but the military road. We've seen KCHTA's brown signs in our area where the military road or the Santa Fe Trail, the Oregon California Trail crossed. And so we're going to be able to look at that routing ourselves. And of course, we know here in Johnson County, particularly the trails are well noted, well appreciated, and that sort of thing. Anything else, Gary? We've had 2 cancellations of our annual meeting for KCHTA, which typically occurs in April, but we've had scheduled out twice now and at different dates and had to cancel those dates. We do have a proposed date coming up in October, I think 19th, which we will meet at the Trailside Center over off of 99th and Holmes, where we will be, we'll have a program, our usual annual meeting. So anyway, we're busy. A lot of us are. Bob Courtney is chair of our new committee, Archives Committee, and we have our archives at Mid-American Nazarene University. Lila sitting here. Lila is chair of the membership committee with KCHTA, and in addition to being president of the Trails Head chapter of OCTA. So my people I know are really busy, and Ross Marshall right there, you might know Ross. He's secretary for KCHTA. So very good. That's all I have to say.
Hey, great. Jay.
Well, we're pleased to announce that we've have our new deputy director on board. Travis Buell joined us last week. He comes from the Seattle, Washington area and has a lot of family here in Kansas City. So I look forward to introducing Travis to the team here.
Thank you.
Very good.
Great. Mark. Mark, anything you'd like to add? Oops. I don't think he's here. He looks like he's frozen. Okay. Sorry.
Meeting like this will do that to a guy.
Yeah. Technology does that. Mark, is there anything you'd like to share?
You mean me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just listening at, those are all interesting comments, and I really think this committee idea is great, and I'm very interested in what we can get done, and was pleased to hear that April wants to be a part of it, and then, you know, working with Terry, I think we can actually get some really exciting things done. So
yes,
I'm very interested in being a part of this, and I just want to thank you all for allowing me to join you. It's great. I'm looking forward to giving back.
All right, Mark.
Kathy.
Oh, well, there's not much going on out here in Western Johnson County. We're hoping October the 28th will be our first back monthly meeting. We've purchased a Harvey Girl DVD, which is actually a documentary. We got the Judy Garland version too, but we got the other, since we can't get the humanities resource people to come. So we're going to have that. We're going to have popcorn, and we're going to sit around and watch this documentary on the Harvey Girls, which is very, very good. It doesn't last but about an hour. And we've lost 2 over 100-year-old people in the last month here in DeSoto. I post those on Facebook, and those are special people. And Terry, maybe you can help me remember, who is the little lady that was Shawnee Indian?
Bertha Cameron.
Bertha Cameron, thank
Yep.
you. All I could think was Garrett. That's her maiden name.
That was her maiden name.
Yeah, but we back in 2007, and this is for you and Bruce Daniel, if she was of Shawnee Indian heritage.
Correct.
And she gave a presentation to our 150th committee at the time in DeSoto, and my husband taped it. So you know, it might be that maybe you and Bruce, she had a lot of background on the Shawnee Indians.
She knew a lot of stuff, boy.
Yeah, she sure did. She sure did, because her
Oh,
brother.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, but if you'd like to have that, we'll either see about making a copy. I couldn't find it while we were talking, and I just thought I'd bring that up. I'll try and get it to you guys then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What format would that be in, by the way?
I've got a DVD.
Perfect.
Mike's got it on DVD, so we'll copy a DVD for you and get it to Terry, or, you know, I'll get it to you, Bruce.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Mike.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm on the board of directors of the Overland Park Historical Society. And our big push for the past year, we purchased a building that's at 80th and Santa Fe almost exactly a year ago today. The reason we purchased this building is because inside this building, and most people don't believe it when you tell them this, inside this building is the last remaining strang line depot. The interurban strang line ran from downtown Kansas City, Missouri. It eventually reached Olathe, and along that rail line were various depots where a passenger could come and wait for the next train. Well, all of those have been torn down or destroyed, except for one, and that's inside this building. And this building used to be owned by Mr. and Mrs. Edding, who ran the Suburban Decorators business out of it. This past winter and spring, well, actually last fall and winter mainly. Anyway, a crew from our historical society basically did demo. There was just a lot of old crap inside there, but the building the depot building can be seen. If you want a tour, I have a key. I can give you a personalized tour. But anyway, the big push right now is fundraising, just like what we're doing. Brad Moore, our president, he would like to get the mortgage. We didn't have enough money to pay cash for the building, so we've got a mortgage on it. But Brad Moore would like to get that paid off. So we are currently going through a very similar process the Heritage Foundation is doing right now. We're trying to develop a list of potential donors, and we have hired a company called Hartsook to assist us in that. And we have also engaged an architectural structural firm to create some construction drawings for what we're going to do with this building. We've had conversations or meetings with the city of Overland Park, and they are glad to see that what we're doing with this building and what our goals for this building is or are. So we've been busy. The pandemic is, of course, just like everybody else, has hurt your activities. But we're moving on, and Brad is convinced we're going to get that money. So that's pretty much wraps us up for right now.
Okay.
Michael, you might want to tell Mark Z about the cemetery project for Speakers Bureau.
Okay. Okay, yeah, Mark.
Yep.
Well, it's probably been a couple of years ago at one of these Heritage Foundation meetings. I think it was Gary.
Yep.
Was asking for volunteers to do some research on historical sites within the county, and my hand went up. I said, Gary, I'll volunteer for cemeteries. So I spent the next, I don't know, 6, 8, 9 months visiting every cemetery that I could find in the county. Not just Overland Park, but the entire county. I think I finally arrived at 52. And I've got about 300 photographs that I believe Sandy has. But
We're
then
working on getting them posted on the Facebook page or on the website.
But then along came the subject of Speakers Bureau, and my hand went up again. I volunteered to be on the Speakers Bureau for cemetery. So I'm not quite sure how many elderly people are going to be interested in hearing about cemeteries. But to me, it's fascinating. Like I said, there's 52 of them, and there's even a couple of them that I've seen them on the map, but I can't find them. So if anybody knows any information about a particular cemetery, I would love to hear it.
Michael, I've got a question for you. What happened to the digital cemetery website that Linda K. Lewis did about, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago? She cataloged every cemetery in the county, including those that were on the peripheral edges. And she took photographs of all the cemeteries, and they used to be associated with the library website, the Johnson County Library.
Okay, well, I called Linda Lewis and talked to her for a while. She happens to be a member of the Overland Park Historical Society. The bottom line is she had a list of the cemeteries, but it was not as extensive as mine. And she had different names for some of them. Actually, her website, I have no idea. You'd have to call Linda Lewis and I can get her your phone number if you want me to.
Well, I used to have contact information for her, but she hasn't responded to my emails, so I'm just wondering if she has a different email now.
It's probably been a year and a half since I talked to her, maybe longer than that. But I incorporated some of her information into my, I have a Excel spreadsheet with all of these cemeteries listed on it. But I expanded on the information. And for example, I've got the GPS coordinates for the entrance to each cemetery. I got on Google Maps. Thank God for Google Maps. And I've included the GPS coordinates. So if you've got GPS, you can plug those coordinates in there and it'll send you straight there. It'll send you straight to the entrance to the cemetery. But
can you tell them what you found out? Like a couple famous items?
well,
Like yours?
of course, Terry, as you know, in the cemetery there in Monticello, is we have a Congressional Medal of Honor buried. Terry, do you remember his name?
Not offhand, no.
Anyway, he won his Congressional Medal of Honor during World War I. He grew up by the Kansas River, and he knew how to swim very well. Well, and during World War I, his unit was pinned down by some machine guns, and he was sent across this river because he could swim well. And I believe he anchored a rope on the other side of the river so the other men could cross the river.
Correct. Right.
And this supposedly was under intense direct fire. He managed to live through it. He wasn't killed. I can take you straight to his gravesite if you want me to.
Ask him about the racehorse.
Okay. The winner of the 1937 Kentucky Derby.
Lauren
was his name. He's buried in a very, very fancy grave, I believe along Mission Road, on the west side of Mission Road at about, I'm thinking 83rd Street.
83rd, yeah.
And it's on a cul-de-sac. It's surrounded by this beautiful cast iron fence. Beautiful site. I've got photographs of that.
And just to clarify, that's not the man, it's the horse.
It's the horse. Okay, but I have one question. This was asked to me by an excellent friend of mine who's since passed away. Anyway, is the entire body of the horse buried there, or is it just the head? Does anybody know?
Well, maybe if Charles gets that sonic
Ground penetration radar.
ground penetration, you can find out.
By the way, the Medal of Honor winner, his name was William Tremblay.
Tremblay,
Tremblay.
yes. Terry, I think he told me at one time that there on his grave there were some cannons. And
yes, we have a fence around his grave plus some special markings and things. Yes.
Yeah, but that's been vandalized.
Somebody stole the cannon. Yes.
Yeah, somebody stole the cannon,
Yeah.
which is very typical. It's a very typical scene I see at a lot of the cemeteries. Is a lot of the gravestones have been smashed. I don't know if they're using a sledgehammer or what, but these big marble gravestones are smashed in multiple pieces. Some of them are been pushed over or fallen over or blown over.
Mark, Michael's been developing a presentation about these cemeteries. If you go to a cemetery, as a presentation, say, here's the cemetery, it'd be very dull and boring. But he has developed an actual talk about this with slideshow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Well, Mike, thank you so much. I'm going to see if Ken, are you still with us, Ken Klingensmith? He might be on a phone call. Yeah, looks like he's probably on a phone call. I want to thank you all for joining. We have a lot of work to do, as you can see. Be watching for emails from all of us. I see that I will be sending you all a copy of our current bylaws. Gary, if you want to chat sometime about stuff, we can do that. And if no one has any other comments, I'm going to go ahead and let you go and get back to the rest of your day.
Well, just one more comment. Yes. Sandy, you're doing a terrific job as our leader.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thank you, Ross.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sandy, I would love to add to that comment. Thinking back when I first joined the Heritage Foundation, I was afraid that I would be going to these dull meetings that had a bunch of old fuddy-duddies in it. I am glad to say that I am completely cleared of that view.
Oh, well, good. You'll say that now. Wait till I make my phone calls.
When did you get over that?
I have been absolutely thrilled about belonging to the Heritage Foundation and, of course, to the Overland Park Historical Society.
Well, I think you all are doing an amazing job during these very trying times. And so kudos to all of you.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you all. And we will see you September 15th on Zoom.
See you then. Bye-bye, guys.
All right.
Okay.